What's going on, and welcome to Story Selling Secrets module number 3. And in this module, we're going to talk about the components of a great story. Okay. And so obviously the first one is the simplest thing to understand, but a lot of people miss this, right? And I'm sure you've heard stories before that miss this, right? So all great stories have a beginning, a middle, and an ending, right? They have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Some people that are horrible storytellers, they'll pick up in the middle and tell the ending, and you're like, oh, wait, what? How did it all start, right? Other people will tell the beginning and the middle, but they never tell you the ending, right? They just leave you like, okay, what was the point to that, right? And I'm sure you can remember times when you've experienced that. So the first thing is all great stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end, okay? The next thing, in one of the trainings that I've gone through, I actually watched like a 4-hour training from a guy that writes and directs movies in Hollywood. And every single great story, this guy's worked with Will Smith, he's worked with Brad Pitt, all the people, right? And every great story has 3 components. Okay, it has a character. It has the character's desire, whatever they want to achieve, and it has a conflict, right? Those are the 3 components of every single great story: is the character, a desire, and a conflict, okay? And then when you're telling your stories, so these are the 3 things that you're going to get from this lesson. Number 1, every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Number 2, every story has a character. The character has a desire, and there's a conflict in the way of them achieving that desire. And then the third thing is, when you tell your stories, you want to first tell the incident, right? You want to tell the story. And then after you tell the story, then you go from the story into the actions that you want your audience to take. You always want to give your audience a call to action or a point to the story, right? And then the last part is you want to tell them the benefit of taking that action. So very simply, if I told you a story in this module about the time that I was, 12 years old, and I was riding a bike, and I was freaking going super fast, and I was wearing these white pants and this bright orange shirt, and I was there with all these other kids from the neighborhood, and we were jumping these dirt hills. And I remember I was rolling up, and I jumped one of the smaller ones, and I landed it, and I felt good, and I thought I was the man. And so some of my buddies, they were jumping this little hill. The hill was probably like 5 feet in the air, and then there was like a 12-foot gap, and then the other hill on the other side, the landing ramp, right? And this was all made out of dirt. And I remember one of my buddies went and hit it, and then another one of my buddies went and hit it, and I was feeling good from the one that I jumped before. That one was like 3 feet, and I was feeling good. I was feeling confident in my white pants and my Vans shoes and my freaking orange shirt. And I remember I was like excited. I wanted to jump over the hill, and I really wanted my friends to see that I could do it. But more importantly, I wanted to prove to myself that I had the ability, that I could go make this happen. And so I remember I was looking at the hill. I'm nervous. I'm a little excited. My heart's beating. I feel like the butterflies in my stomach, but I'm like, let's go. Let's get this. And I start pedaling. I'm going fast. And everything disappears, and I'm in tunnel vision. And all I see is this big dirt hill right in front of me. And I'm rolling up on the dirt hill, and I remember my front tire goes, and I roll up, and I'm up, and I pull up on the handlebars, and I feel my back tire lift, and I'm floating through the air. And as I'm floating through the air, I'm rolling, and my heart's beating fast, and I'm like, I got it. And then all of a sudden, boom, my front wheel hits the lip of the down ramp, and I flip over and flow. Boom, ba-dum, 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 boom. My bike goes to the left. I go to the right. I'm like laying there on the ground. I'm all jacked up. There's dirt all over my face. I stand up. I'm looking at my white pants, and they're completely brown, just destroyed. I got a big old rip on the left side. The right side's all brown. I got cuts on my chin. I got cuts on my elbows, cuts on my knees. I'm bleeding all over the place. And I remember getting up, and in that moment, man, I wasn't sad. I wasn't upset. I was freaking pissed. I was so mad because I knew I could hit this jump. I knew I could hit this freaking ramp like my friends, and I ate it in front of everyone. And I remember I was standing there, and this lady was standing a few feet away, and she lived in the house, like the desert was here, and she lived in these houses next to the desert, and there was no like barrier or fence or anything, right? And I remember she's like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I didn't even want to say anything. I'm like, "Yes, I'm okay." And I was just so freaking mad in that moment. I was pissed. My friends come up and they're trying to be like, "Hey, Jay, you okay?" And I'm like, "Just don't freaking talk to me, man. Don't freaking talk to me." And so if I tell you that story, there has to be a point, right? So I gave you a beginning, I gave you a middle, and I gave you an end, right? I gave you the character, I gave you the desire, and I gave you the conflict. But if there's no point, right, I gave you the incident. So if I told you the actions you can take, hey, so next time you want to go accomplish something or go after it, you got to make sure that you're ready, right? You got to make sure that you're ready and you can do it, right? I got to give you an action and I got to give you a point to the story. Otherwise, I just tell you a story and leave you on a cliff, right? Leave you hanging on the cliff. So you always want to pull a point out of the story that you're telling, no matter what it is. And so that's pretty much your lesson for today. So what I want you to do is in the stories that you wrote down yesterday and you listed, now you want to go through and make sure you have all of these components to each of those stories. You have your beginning, you have your middle, and your end. So even say whatever story you wrote down, look at it and say, where do I need to start? What's the backstory? What's the beginning that I need people to understand? What happened in the middle, the drama and all the stuff, and then what's the ending? What was the outcome, right? And then make sure that you have the character, the desire. Okay, in this story, what was it that I wanted? What did I want internally? What was the challenges that I was going through, right? Write the desires that you had, and then write the conflict that came through the story, right? What was the challenges? What were the things you had to overcome, or what were the things that came up that made things difficult? And then the last part is, what are the actions that you want people to walk away with, or the beliefs, right? What are the new beliefs that people will walk away with as a result of hearing those stories? So that's your homework for this one. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.